Hi, I'm Darren and welcome to New Factory Classics. Today we're going to cover the DC Elseworlds movie, Joker. Joaquin Phoenix plays depressed clown for hire, Arthur Fleck. The movie starts out with him dancing as a clown with a going out of business sign when unfortunately he's robbed by teenagers and they beat him up. Gotham City in this movie has a New York City 70s vibe. It's really dirty and there's a garbage strike going on and everyone's on edge. Arthur has a disease where he will randomly cry or laugh. It makes it really uncomfortable to be around him. It's a real disease called PBA. I'm just glad he doesn't have taco neck syndrome. Arthur has legally mandated counseling sessions with the city worker, where he has to journal. Fortunately for him, he only can come up with dark thoughts, jokes, and just basically puts porn in the journal too. He's constantly depressed, on a bunch of psych meds, and barely feeds himself. He needs to get his act together if he plans on taking on the Batman. His laughing disease is constantly getting him to situations where people want to beat him up or just not want to be near him. It's leading him to have a sad, solitary life. Arthur lives with his mom, who also has psychiatric problems. She's constantly writing letters to Thomas Wayne, who himself is running for mayor. I'm sure that's going to work out just fine. Arthur's favorite show is Live with Murray Franklin. It's like The Tonight Show if it were funny. Whenever he watched the show, he constantly drifts off, imagining himself being called onto stage so he could tell his jokes and become a famous comedian. Things aren't going well for him at work either. His coworkers heard about him getting mugged by teens, so they offer him a gun. Not to mention his boss is charging him for the sign that was broken. Arthur meets a young woman that lives in the apartment complex with him. She speaks to him briefly, so he immediately falls in love with her. And he knows exactly how women like to be talked to, putting a gun up to your head with your fingers and pretending to kill yourself. Arthur begins dancing with the gun that he was given at work. This is something that normal people do, just dance with guns and hope they don't go off. The next day he gets on a train and follows his neighbor to work. Women really like when you secretly follow them on trains. That night she calls him out for following her, but she apparently liked it a little bit and actually agrees to go to his stand-up show. He'll need to get better quickly at becoming a stand-up because the clown community really frowns on you dropping a gun at a children's hospital, so they fired him. Even worse, Arthur gets jumped on his train ride home from work. But unfortunately for them, he has a gun on them and he executes all three men who come after him. The murdering was quite freeing. It's the first thing that he's ever had control of in his life. So he takes his newfound control, goes right over to his neighbor's house and seduces her and they sleep together. Our boy is no virgin no longer. Apparently the three murdered men work for Wayne Enterprises and Thomas Wayne is angry. He goes on the news and calls the poor clowns. Anyone who wears a mask also is a clown. He should tell that to his 5-year-old son who wears a mask maybe in the future. The city has cut all funding for counseling and for his pills. Arthur was doing so well on the pills, let's see what happens when he stops taking them. Arthur finally has his big stand-up night, and unfortunately for him, people don't like when you do stand-up and just start crying at the beginning of your set. Luckily for him though, his neighbor came to see his show and she loved it and they go on a date afterwards. Arthur reads one of his mother's letters to Thomas Wayne. It turns out that she's accusing Thomas of being Arthur's father. What? Batman and Joker are brothers. Once he finds this out, he does what any normal person would do, and he takes the bus out of town to go to Wayne Manor and bother young Bruce, a 5-year-old that's just playing by the fence. Bruce is so lucky. He's had 2 parents his whole life, and he'll always have 2 parents. Bruce, with your 2 parents, you're just so lucky. Alfred, I'm assuming, runs up on Arthur when he sees him touching Bruce and says to get away from the young boy. Lets him know that his mom is crazy and that Thomas Wayne and her never slept together. I guess there's no brother or payout for young Arthur. Apparently the cops are on his tail. You can't just shoot 3 people and get away with it in Gotham. So they were questioning his mom, and unfortunately for him, she had a stroke and is in the hospital. While at his lowest, sitting with his mom in a hospital, he's watching TV. Luckily, Murray Franklin comes on. Unfortunately for him, Murray plays clips from his stand-up the other night and makes fun of him. The whole city is on edge with the recent murders and everyone dressing like clowns now. There's an eat the rich kind of vibe going on and the rich are scared. But Arthur uses this in order to sneak in to a rich function. Arthur accosts Thomas Wayne in the bathroom. That's where rich people like to be accosted, in the bathroom when they're by themselves. Thomas Wayne lets him know his mother's crazy and punches him in the nose. Frankly, the worst first meeting with a father ever. Here's some good news though for Arthur. He got a call from Murray Franklin's show. They want him to do stand-up on their show. Apparently he became really famous after they played his clip. This is it. This is his big chance. Arthur, unsure who's correct, Thomas or his mom, goes to Arkham Asylum to steal her file and see what exactly it says about her. It's frankly really bad news. She used to let Arthur get beaten by her ex-boyfriend, and they had to take him away for a while. Then she was committed to Arkham for many months before he was given back to her. This is the worst trip he'll ever have to Arkham. Maybe next time he meets someone nice, like a multi-Grammy Award winner. Arthur goes to visit his girlfriend, the neighbor, and to talk to her about everything horrible that's happened to him lately. But she instantly screams because it turns out that Arthur hadn't been going on dates with her. He had been by himself. He has slowly lost his mind. The only time they had ever really talked was in the elevator. Their dates, when they slept with each other, when she came to see him in stand-up, that was all in his mind. I guess our boy is back to virgin status. Arthur goes back to the hospital and pillows his mom. Arthur gets visited by two of his former co-workers. One of them was always mean to him, so he stabs him in the throat, murdering him. The other one was always his only friend in life. So he lets him live and gives him the good news. You can see him on Murray Franklin tonight. A very glasses-half-full situation. On his way to his performance, he's being chased by the two cops investigating him. Unfortunately for them, as they try and apprehend him, all the people dressed like clowns get really mad about cops trying to stop the clowns, and they beat up the cops. Arthur's big plan is to go out on stage, greet Murray, put a gun to his head, and kill himself on live TV. He wants Murray to call him Joker because that's what his life has been, a complete joke. Right before coming out, though, Murray replays the clip making fun of him in his stand-up routine. Well, that's not a very nice intro. Arthur and Murray have a little back and forth, discussing everything going on with the city, why he's dressed as a clown, and why all the other people are angry. Realizing that this is going to be his last performance, he reveals that he's the one who killed the men on the train. But also, he's angry at Murray for everything he did, and everyone always stepping on the little guy. So, to go out with a bang, he kills Murray by shooting him through the head. Gotham City basically explodes. A clown killing a rich person on live TV sends everyone over the edge. But it's still better TV than The Masked Singer. With a riot breaking out, the Wayne family has to leave their Mask of Zorro movie very early, and unfortunately for them, they get shot, right in front of little Bruce. I hope he adjusts well. Arthur gets put in Arkham Asylum for being absolutely crazy, and I guess the 5 other murders that he did too. I guess you could say he's become a real Joker. And now I have seen it, so you don't have to. Please like, subscribe, and share. Thank you.